very special edition of Monster Party. We're at Comic-Con!
Yeah!
Hey, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Larry Strothe.
I'm James Gonis.
I am Shawn Sheridan.
And we are here enjoying the majesty, the pageantry that is Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. We
It's
wait
San
for this
Diego.
all year in
Yes.
San Diego, California.
It is
Mecca.
the Woodstock of nerds.
Yes. Unless you're Mexican, and then
Yes.
you know where you gotta go.
Oh my
So,
God.
Anyway.
Don't go there.
So,
Comic-Con.
yeah, I'm not going to bring politics into this.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
so
Let's get to this.
so here we go.
Here we go.
Here's my first question to you, to all of you.
Okay.
Hygiene-wise,
Yes.
Oh,
how do you feel the con is going this year?
May I first?
please,
Let me just
Shawn,
say,
please.
surprisingly, this year, I've noticed less body odor,
Yes.
less
Okay.
Yes.
fart clouds.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I really have it, surprisingly. I mean, I don't know if it's the air conditioning is better, there's less people, but it seems to be a little more pleasant than usual.
I think the air conditioning is better this year. And
Yeah.
also, I think it's helped that it's been overcast this year. I
Yes.
think-
Not too hot.
Weather has
sweating.
been great, actually, for this
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
You know what? I, as an experiment, what I did was I actually went into the middle of the con and went, and didn't wake up in another place.
Did you
That's
get
great.
shot at that? Did you show that?
Well, you know, it's in my diary, and I filmed my diary.
Because
so.
that's what's really cool about this edition is we actually had these little flip cams, and we actually got shots of
Yeah, we got shots
bits
of
of
some
Comic-Con
Yeah.
to
Oh,
just
yeah.
show you.
Yeah.
So
We have lots of little sort of video diaries that we're going to be showing
yeah.
throughout this,
Yeah.
and you will see them, and maybe you'll go, hey, maybe I didn't really need to see that. Yeah,
So,
because some things seen can't be unseen.
so should we talk a little bit about, like, pros and cons of
the
con?
con.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, like, I would say that one thing that I miss a little bit is less of the kind of classic collectibles, classic toys.
Always, yeah.
There's a lot
Less and less.
Yeah, there's a lot more of the corporate, publicity for all the new movies and all the TV shows.
Right.
But there seemed like there used to be a lot more antique toy dealers
Sure.
in the past.
Yeah.
And now there's maybe 5.
Yeah, there's
that's
a lot more gaming stuff, a lot
Right.
more.
The first time I came down here, which I don't know, it was like what,
Well, it was
12
like
years ago.
Yeah.
And what was amazing was there were a lot of dealers that had antique toys or antique like Godzilla toys that we found, and it was really great.
Right.
And
Migos,
then
lunch
Migos,
boxes.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
But it's true that, and that was one thing that we just absolutely loved about Comic-Con.
Absolutely.
But then, yes, over the years, it's like Hollywood and pop culture has kind of come in and go, hey, corporate. And like a friend of mine said, so the TV show Bones, what does that have to do with comics? I go, well, the guy who's a star used to be in, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then he did Angel. He goes, yeah, but Bones, what does that have to do with comics?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
If you have a Glee
Uh-huh.
panel, then you can't go to Comic-Con.
Was
You
there
know?
a Glee? Was there a Glee one?
I'm
I
sure
don't
there
know.
was.
Might
But
as well have
there's
been.
less comics at Comic Con, right? I mean, it seems like
Right.
there's less and less dealers actually
But
selling comic books.
Every
But-
Showtime show, every HBO show, they've got a panel with the
Yes.
signing, and
Right.
they stop traffic on the floor.
Which you have to
so
stand.
you
Which
can-
you have to stand in line for
I
3
swear to
hours
God.
And
to
just
get
to
the
get a
ticket. To get them
Yes.
to stand in line, and
I
they're not guaranteed.
I swear to God, a riot almost broke out on the floor over the stars of How I Met Your Mother.
Are
now,
you serious?
What the fuck is going on? I
Yeah,
don't.
It's kind of crazy.
Although I've thought about this, and I will say this, that even though it is more corporate, there is also something about the fact that they get into these sort of non-genre shows that makes it more inclusive too. Like
But
a
in
few,
entertainment
well,
in general.
But
I
isn't that
guess.
the kind of
I
the problem though? Is like I don't want it inclusive too. I want real nerds. I don't want the guy who's like, oh, now that
from
they
Fox TV.
right,
showing,
exactly,
you know,
yeah.
you know.
Oh, now that there's a How I Met Your Mother
Okay.
panel,
Yeah,
well,
but
now I can
see,
go. Well, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
honestly,
Go home.
you know, honestly, I've thought about this a lot. Okay, and I'm a few years ago I came with my wife and in-laws, and we were staying at the Sheridan, and there were all of these geeks like us with the ears, the Spock ears, going in and out of the elevator, and my wife is like, hey, these are your people. You should feel good around them. and at first...
And how's couples counseling?
You know, marriage and Comic-Con is a show in itself.
I get a raw nerve.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
yes, yes.
Let's keep it light.
It's okay.
But after But after that comment, I thought about it a lot. I was like, you know what? Yes, these are my people, and you know what? This show is huge, and it's only getting bigger, and we are hundreds of thousands strong, and the more the merrier as far as that goes. So if you want a Glee panel, great.
You know, I will say this. The one thing I absolutely loved. No, hang tight.
All right.
No, the one
I'm
thing.
gonna count to 10.
Listen. The one thing I loved is, you know, James and I were talking about this as we were walking along, looking at stuff, and I saw like families with little kids, and this kid was like in a little, you know, Superman outfit, and he had a Superman comic book, and I thought, you know, that's the future, and so I love to see that.
The generation is passing down to generation. I will say though that like I've been going with my wife for probably 18 years straight. And it used to be literally in the old days, like maybe 10 years ago, we would just drive down and just park our car in one of the lots, you know, in the Gaslamp district and walk in.
Strap your buggy to the old general store.
And just walk in, and it was so easy. Now it's like things. I mean, now I think the last several years, the entire con is sold out.
Yeah.
So even if you're like a
it's
professional,
like a year in advance.
It's like you have, and getting a hotel is like near impossible, like near the con.
Well,
And
walking 20 feet is impossible.
Yes.
Yeah.
But and that stuff, the whole, you know, getting the hotel room and all that kind of thing is annoying. And there might come a time where, if this thing was moved to Las Vegas, I think I would be okay with that.
Me too.
I don't know. I
think
don't
I would.
want Comic-Con to be in any city where it's that easy to get a hooker.
It's not easy to get hookers in San Diego.
I think that's a separate show.
He has thrown down the gauntlet. Okay. By the way, if it does move to Las Vegas, we should get in on the ground floor of the whole geek hooker thing.
Well, okay, look, maybe that'll happen in the future. I don't know. But what is great about Comic-Con...
The only way it's going to happen in the future is if we decide to make it happen now.
No, because we have nothing to do with it. It has to do...
Unless we want to make something happen.
That's not... It's not going to happen, okay? It's the people who are in charge. They love where it is. They love it being in San Diego, and that's probably where it's going to continue from now on.
And don't we love where it is too?
Well, yeah. I mean,
to an extent.
The one thing I would say is it would be nice if it was a little larger, because it is difficult with the crowds.
Doesn't it seem like it's kind of overstuffed right now? Like it seems like they could use another football field.
And let's be. Can we be to be delicate? Okay. The Gaslamp Quarter. Is kind of like a tailhook scandal just waiting to happen. It is like a douche-a-thon, and at least with Las Vegas, it's so vast that you can sort of find your own little niche and get away from it.
Probably wouldn't have hotel.
And lots of hotels.
Yeah.
And that would be great. But I do. San Diego's beautiful.
LA convention, Las Vegas convention. I don't know. Is it as big, larger than?
The one thing about Comic-Con is that it's really the only regular, opportunity that I get to even come to San Diego. And even though it's a great city and there's a lot to offer, the 1 or 2 times I've ever come to San Diego when it's not Comic-Con have actually been really depressing, because I see the convention center and it's like, oh no, there's nothing going on.
You associate it really with just Comic-Con.
You do, and
I get that.
And the association and the nostalgia and the memories. I mean, it is particular also to this place.
Yeah, but I will say that like with all the crowds and all the difficulty is to get hotels and all that, it's the only event like this in the world.
Oh yeah,
and that's true. And that brings up a very, very good point, which is the idea. Like I get really tired of is all our complaints about Comic-Con. There's never a time where I go, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
I have so many
every year.
Yes, I have so many friends
like
that go like, oh, it's too crowded, it's too corporate.
I'm boycotting Comic-Con.
Yeah, like no. I don't care. Like the corporate stuff. I mean, there are so many great visual things when you walk through that hall and interactive stuff.
It's so
that you
great.
go like, why? It's 3. Most people go like 2 days. We've gone 4 or longer. And it's 4 days out of a year.
And it has everything with comics, science fiction, fantasy, horror, cosplay, video games.
It's like a pop culture playland.
It is.
Although
the people alone. I mean, for the people alone.
And what is kind of, people joke about doing the ears and stuff. Look, this is the one time of the year
you can
that
walk
you could
around
go and walk around. And you know
you.
what? When I see that, I go, that's great. And how
good for
often when you get to dress up in a costume and you go, gee, I work in my insurance agency and I can't just but damn it, I go to Comic-Con and I'm going to put on the little hobbit ears and the hobbit feet and stuff, and I'm going to walk around. the Comic-Con, I'm gonna be proud. And people go, oh, what a great costume! Can I get a picture of you? And you're all,
Yeah.
sure.
But
You
And
know,
I used
and I love that, Matt. I saw
Yes.
the She-Hulk and I went,
Yeah.
damn it, good for
The
you,
who?
man.
I
That is awesome.
completely agree with
And
you.
I love that.
But I agree with you. The fact that there's this place where you can go and you can put on your spandex that maybe is not flattering,
Yeah.
but everybody here is
Right.
on your side.
Absolutely,
Right,
and we
right.
support it, and we love it, and no one goes, no, it's like, yeah, more power to you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Although-
and then the more elaborate people get with their costumes.
And the masquerade. I mean,
Well,
there's a whole
yes,
masquerade.
yeah, the
that
masquerade.
goes
But when they
on
walk
Saturday.
around, like, there's this guy who has the most amazing classic Adam West Batman outfit, and he
Yeah.
looks, oh my God, he's absolutely
Yeah,
amazing.
well,
And
some
he-
are genuinely like
Yeah.
perfectly
and,
done.
and that's when I go, damn, that is a great costume.
But you know what
Great.
I enjoy? Like we're walking through the aisles and there's this guy who is like it's like one of the a couple Game of Thrones figures.
Okay, sure.
You know,
Mhm.
so him and his girlfriend are Game of Thrones, and what's great about Comic-Con is walking around and you go, this is what Game of Thrones would look like if it were cast in the 70s or the 60s.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you're in good shape, but you're not in
Yeah.
that good a shape.
Yeah.
You're a little doughy.
Need a haircut.
Yeah, you know,
But
it's
again-
like,
but again,
I love it.
Matt, it's okay. Again,
I
how many
salute it.
how many
I
Princess
salute it.
Leias did you see? I mean, I saw
Slave
so many,
Leias.
and
A lot
just
of slave
slave Leias, and you know,
Yes.
may
I-
not look exactly
I
like
love-
Carrie Fisher back in the day,
Yeah.
but damn it,
I love them all.
Look
In
at-
fact,
absolutely.
Look at Carrie Fisher now.
hey,
It's just kind of like
I just want to say,
Hey.
we love you, Carrie Fisher.
Yes, no.
Love you.
But
But
it's
but
also the
sit-ups,
surreal.
maybe? I don't know.
The surreal visuals, though, also seeing like off to a side a Klingon sitting on the corner on a cell phone, you know,
Or eating
Yeah.
chips and cheese,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and
talking with like a Thor
But-
character or something.
You know what I like to do first day at Comic-Con? Just stalk. That's all I do.
Well,
That's all I do is stalk.
It's the freedom of stalking because it's like normally, you know, you stare at
Okay.
a woman and she's like, "What
But-
are you looking at?"
Yeah.
Here,
we
it's
don't
like they-
encourage stalking,
no, we
okay?
don't-
Come
no,
on,
no.
please.
No, we're totally.
I would like to encourage a certain level of stalking.
But you know, here if they're in costume, it's like you're expected to look, you're expected to stare,
And that's why they dress up.
That's true. There was a gal who was dressed up as Jessica Rabbit, and it was weird. I mean, did you see her?
I saw
and,
her.
and I got a little shot of her, and it's like she stood there, and she was so proud, and hey, and then someone goes, can I get my picture? Sure, you know, and she
There was
posed.
a
I mean,
sexy
my gosh.
Boba Fett there.
That's
there was like a
right.
hot
Yeah.
chick and with a Boba,
Boba
Fett
Fett
helmet.
is sexy anyway, though.
Well, yeah,
Sexy
but
Boba Fett.
even sexy.
But isn't it like also kind of a sign of the times where it's kind of become like the whole nerd culture has become kind of hip and kind of like accepted now? You know, I mean, it's a lot more mainstream than it used to be. Don't
Well-
you think?
Well,
I
and that's
mean,
that's what I think people are rebelling against in Comic-Con is the idea of that, like, this thing that was my unique thing that I owned is
Pretender.
now this.
Yeah.
pretenders.
Yeah.
to
But now you
nerdism.
Posers.
But it's
People who call themselves nerds because it's cool, but they're not really nerds.
Yeah, the people who use the term graphic novel, you know, a lot.
Mhm.
Well,
Like,
But it's a lot more in just the general culture, I think, too. I mean, shows like Big Bang Theory or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
No,
Oh, I
don't
mean,
get me
that's
started.
like a
But
very
like-
popular
but there's
show.
a-
Don't get me
it is-
started.
No,
Oh,
no,
that's
I'm,
about-
man,
there's
it's a very popular show.
No, I know.
But nerdism
But they-
is just a much more. It's just a much more common and accepted thing, I think. And you know, it's just kind of a lot hipper than it used to be, I think.
Big Bang Theory is like the step and fetch it for nerds. It's horrible.
You know what?
I've never
Before
watched
we
it.
piss off our fans of that show, why
I
don't
don't
we focus?
care.
No, we're
I
gonna
don't
focus.
care.
We're
I
gonna
don't
focus
care if
on
you're
Comic
offended.
Con. Now, I
The
understand. no,
producers of that show hate you. They hate you.
they don't hate you.
Yes,
they
they
don't. No,
do.
they don't. But you know what? I understand that you guys got some really cool. You guys got some cool tellies, didn't you?
You know what? I have another 15 minutes on Big Bang Theory. Okay.
No,
So
no,
here's
you
another
did-
10 reasons
no.
why it sucks.
I know that you picked up some really cool things.
Wow, I hit a nerd
Today.
there.
Didn't you? Didn't you?
Wow, this is the big controversial thing, the Big Bang Theory? I'm glad they gave me a Big Bang Theory tote bag when I came in so I could puke in it just to piss them off. They don't care, though.
Wow.
They don't care what I think.
Wow.
All right, let's talk
Well,
about our
Did you
things.
get anything cool? Did
Well-
you get anything neat?
I got this. This was
Speaking
the
of
major
cool things.
purchase that I was going to make, which is this King Ghidorah by Monster Arts, which is beautifully
Wow, it is very
articulated.
beautiful.
You know, one of the things to
Very
circle
cool.
back to the topic Shawn introduced about, the exhibitors not having, a lot of vintage stuff. a lot of exhibitors don't have any stuff at all. They're just promoting what they do. Especially, a lot of figure vendors, a lot of toy vendors.
Right.
They're not bringing product.
Yes.
I asked for it was Mezco, and I asked for a creature that they had on display, and I wanted to buy one.
You demanded it.
Yes, I demanded. I said, I want this creature, damn it.
No, that is a huge pet peeve. You're right. It's the whole idea, like, you see all these beautiful things on display, and you think, oh, great, where's this? How much is this?
Yeah.
I'd like to buy it. Oh, no, it's not coming out till, like, the third quarter of 2015. It's like,
Okay.
why
Or
do
in
you
the
have it
case
here
of
then?
Mezco, they handed me a business card and said, you can go online and order it. But the part of the fun of Comic-Con is you pick something up, it's sometimes an impulse purchase.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Impulse
You bring it-
purchasing
you
is a
bring it
very
to the
big thing
hotel
at
room.
Comic-Con.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
it's what fuels us as people.
It is.
Look, once I get to my computer and I'm paying bills,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
just like, well, I don't have the money
You're
to pay
back to
for this
reality.
thing.
You realize you can't afford it.
Yeah,
Comic-Con,
you're giving
it's
me
like, yeah, I'm at Comic-Con.
You're giving me a layer of logic that I have to go through.
That's
So
not
like,
good.
can I
Dealers,
afford this? No, of course you can't.
Exhibitors, dealers, vendors, you got to bring product to the con.
And
You
No
got to be
teasing,
able
no.
to sell it to us at the convention.
Yes,
I don't
and-
care what shipping overhead that you have to deal
Thank
with.
you.
Damn.
You bring the product,
That's right.
and we'll buy it. We will spend cash money
Yes,
on the
true.
spot. Don't give me a business card and say order online.
Yeah, that's
Bull crap.
bullshit.
I have
Yes.
never been more in love with you than this
I have
moment.
never seen you so fired
Yes.
up. Let's
I'm
do
pissed, man.
yes.
I'm pissed.
So vendors,
Comic-Con-
listen to James and just follow this. And-
Comic-Con
and-
is supposed to be a fantasy land for 4 days where you can do whatever you want and buy whatever you want with no problem.
Yeah, don't tease me with something that's going to come out in 3 years.
Yeah.
And speaking of
Or
tease,
maybe nether.
And speaking of tease, and
Never?
I have a bone to pick too. Okay, just because I'm a little
Uh-oh.
upset about
Get
this.
ready.
Okay, so. At Comic-Con, what they do is they have
Expecting
these
me again.
exclusives, Hey, we're going to come to
Yes.
our booth and we're going to have this exclusive thing. And you know what? Okay, I'll get there early right when the place opens, and I'll go and I'll run to that booth and I'll go and stand in line for that
You
exclusive.
run
okay?
down that 5-year-old
Well,
and get in line.
Three times. Okay, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay, so there's this exclusive at Mattel. They're going to have a Webarella. Webarella, it's a Monster High.
Monster
doll.
High, yeah.
So I wanted to get
Spiderella,
no,
it's called.
yeah,
No, it's
Webarella.
Webarella.
Okay, my mistake.
so
Sorry.
yeah, okay, I know what I'm talking about. Okay,
Jesus.
but so check this out. So
Embarrassing.
I get there first thing in the morning. And they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're sold out." Well, how could you sell out? I mean, the convention. Well, there are a lot of people ran in line. I went, okay, well, I'm going to get here right before, right at 9 o'clock, and the convention doors don't open until 9:30. Well, I'm right there at the door, and the door's open. I'm running. I gotta get to the motel,
Making
and I get to the motel, and there's like 200 people there. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
And then not only that, there's a line that goes. I go, who the hell are these people? They just opened the convention. And the guys are,
Did you
I'm really
flip
sorry.
canvas?
No, this is, yeah, I did, because there's an issue. I have a
All
big
right.
issue, okay? And then I go around trying to find out, well, where's the end of the line? Go, oh, I'm sorry, we've tapped the line. What do you mean you tapped the line?
Where did this
Won't
one come from, though?
So, but here's the best part. Who are all these people? You know who these people are? They're exhibitors. Exhibitors are able to get in there before anybody.
Because
And
they're already there.
They're already there.
They
And
should
then
be.
and what they
Spend
do is they buy
$110.
6
Yes,
or 7 of these.
yeah. They should
be
And I
exhibiting,
complained.
not purchasing.
Sean, I
Yes.
complained. I went to the Mattel people. I said, you know what? I went to a booth and I saw they had the Webarella there. $150 for a toy that would normally cost me $25. And I went,
Right. Oh,
that's
how
bullshit.
they do it.
Yeah, and then I said,
Yeah.
I said to the Mattel people, do you know that people are doing this? Yes, I'm sorry, we can't do anything about it. And well, I got to tell you, I was so upset because when I was there was also this dad and his little girl, and they said, oh, we got here just in, right when it's open. Can we get one? And they go, oh, gee, I'm really sorry. This little girl couldn't get her Webarella. They got their first thing because
You're
some
destroying children's
clown
lives.
Yeah.
at some exhibitor goes, hell, I'm gonna get as many of these as I can. I'm gonna put them on the market for $150. Ha ha ha! Screw you, Mattel! Screw you, people! And it pisses me off. It's like,
Speed Racer
Mattel,
car.
there's some very easy things that you could do. One, if someone's got an exhibitor badge, don't sell it to them.
Exactly.
That's number one. Number
Yeah.
two, how about don't let people get in line until it's 9:30 when the convention opens.
How about you limit it to one per customer?
How about that?
Yeah.
How did this turn into the one-man show of fucking Webarella?
I'm sorry. This was something, it was very,
No, you're right. It's very
pet
That
peeve.
was
But
like the
you go-
vagina monologue.
I'm sorry.
Comic-Con.
Pros and
I
cons
agree.
of the con.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
You
my
know,
con.
One thing that's
Of the
kind of
con.
also kind of disappointing is like there's certain vendors that in the past have always had great great stuff. And lately, like now, last couple of years, you go and there's like nothing. Like
Yeah.
you know, I mean, like certain booths like Super 7, Funko.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like they just have. Not this. I don't know if it's just me or they just don't have the
No,
same good
yeah,
stuff.
it's
A lot of it, what is it called? Is it called urban art or what is it called? Urban.
Oh, yeah, the
What is
little
it?
monster.
Urban
little
vinyl?
monster,
Yes.
urban
Limited
vinyl.
edition vinyl
A
figures.
lot of that
They
stuff.
only make like
Yeah.
like 200 a piece.
Yeah,
or
so
something
where it's like
that.
somebody goes, what if we have a gorilla body and
Yeah,
then
the
a trash
robot
can
head.
head?
No,
Mickey
look,
Mouse ears.
There are
Yeah.
people
Not
that
that-
love
yeah,
there
that-
are people,
yeah.
but it's like, I mean, I prefer, do
Like
a Godzilla
licensed-
figure
right,
and, you know,
licensed TV and
exactly.
movie
But you know what?
figures,
A licensed thing, it takes too much energy, too much money. We'll just create something of our own,
Yeah.
you know? Some of those are cool, but it's not
And
my
what
thing.
about Sideshow? What happened to Sideshow?
Oh,
It's all
Sideshow used to be
scheduled.
like that. Used to be like the
I know.
I
like the
used to love
paradise of like
Sideshow.
of figures,
Figures.
based on all our classic characters.
12-inch
and
figures.
Monster
do they even
figures
now? It
and-
seems like I go there and they just have busts of
Yeah.
things or stuff again
Now
like we were just
it's-
talking about that's not available. They just like
I think now they're just like all their product is like aimed towards like Dubai princes. Like
Yeah.
everything
Yes,
is
yeah.
so
Have to
fucking
be.
expensive.
They
You
used
used
to
to be
put
able
out
to
the
get a
classic
Sideshow
Universal
figure
Monsters.
for $40.
Yeah.
they were
And
just
you could
great.
buy the whole series. You could buy all the Universal Monsters,
Yeah.
all the James Bonds, which you know, I bought all the Bonds. I know we all bought the
Yeah,
Universal
all the
figures.
Universal stuff
Yeah.
is great.
And now, you know, you go there and it's some
The
maquette.
outer limits stuff.
Or
I
if
mean,
it's
like,
a 12-inch figure,
Yeah.
you have to be assaulted.
yeah,
You know,
Yes.
it's $500.
Who's
Although
buying
there
it?
is a beautiful Galactus that lights up and
Yeah,
everything.
really?
No, it's
And,
beautiful
you
work,
know,
but it's
but-
unaffordable.
Yeah, I can't get near it.
And Shawn, along those lines, I loved having, you know, the Frankenstein from Bride of Frankenstein and the Bride.
Yeah.
But I felt like, you know, guys, how about doing Colin Clive, Dr. Frankenstein?
Yeah.
How about doing Dr. Pretorius?
Yeah.
How about...
Well, that's the other like
And
sad
then-
thing is that like when you see classic toy lines that have come out, but they never finished the rest of the
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
Like one of the worst, the most disappointing for me was this was years ago, but they started to put out all the Sid and Marty Croft characters.
Oh,
They put
H.M.
out a
Muffin
beautiful Puffin stuff.
Yeah.
and
Sid
but then they
Mar-
stopped.
Sig-
Electro
Sig-
Woman
and
and
the
the
Sea
Garden
Monster.
Like
all
Sig
the
and
others.
the Sea
But
Monster.
I need to ask a question,
Oh.
and is it possible that they lost their ass on that stuff because there wasn't enough
Well, see,
people of our age?
It's
and
funny you should say that because I did talk to the Sideshow people, or a couple of them, and they said for them, when you have to pay X amount of dollars for the license,
Right.
number one.
Yeah.
And number two, then there's so many parts and pieces that go into making the figure. You have to sell so many of them to make your money back. Whereas these busts, it's
Maybe
like it's
that's
this
it.
clay sculpture. It's simpler, I guess, to just make the sculpture, make the mold for it, and
Yeah.
create,
Make it
and
one
then
piece, yeah.
and then spray paint it. You know, bingo, there's your product.
I know.
And look,
you know,
they've got some beautiful stuff.
yeah, which some
Make
of
it
the stuff
affordable,
now,
nice
though.
work.
and
It's
some of
make
that
it
out
affordable.
of the stuff that's not in production anymore, it goes for a lot of money too. Like some of those that were much more affordable at the time now are like going for a lot. So yeah,
I'm
but
gonna have
that's
a word with them tomorrow.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But-
by the way, there like I know that we've all bought stuff.
Yeah,
and we
yeah,
have our
yeah.
things that we enjoy buying at Comic-Con, but this is time-wise. This is Saturday, and so Sunday is the last day. And what I do is I wait till the very last day
Mhm.
to get the good deals.
which you usually can, right? I mean, you can
Oh
get
yeah,
good
yeah.
deals.
And you go like, there's a guy who's packing up his truck, and you
chase
go,
him down.
I'll give you $20 for it. And like, fine, I don't want to take
So
it.
maybe someone will
Right,
sell that
right.
Webarella
Yeah, exactly.
for $40. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
exactly.
Yeah. Hey, we
That's
worked
what
it out
I'm
for
going
150 down, 100 down to
Yeah.
140. Okay.
Which is how sad and petty my life is. That, like, that is.
But
that-
you got some pretty cool things though.
Well,
Well,
I got,
what did you?
I got
what
this
something-
nice little Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, skeleton with the bird. This is like actually from the ride.
Mhm.
This is a character in
cool.
the ride.
Yeah.
Metal sword.
Mhm.
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
nice.
Awesome.
And it was $20. Today it's 15. Do I feel like an ass? Yeah.
No.
You know what?
No, you
every
put
every
20.
decision I
Yes.
make in life,
Okay.
wrong.
No. Even
Did you-
20 you made out.
Did you get anything? Cool?
Yes. Well, as I was talking about how I love the old classic Mego figures. You know, all the stuff in the '70s that I grew up with.
Mhm.
And it's hard to find original Mego figures.
Oh,
these,
yeah.
There's
Oh,
a
yeah.
few scant dealers at Comic-Con that still have stuff, but luckily there are companies that are putting out Mego style figures that they're going early into the retro stuff.
Those are really cool.
Some of the stuff is the the classic Twilight Zone.
Oh,
They've been putting out a lot of the characters.
Oh, that is so cool.
This is from, I think, The Fear was the name of this episode. The kind of giant alien, that turned out to be kind of like a fake alien that was like,
that one.
This one, the Lonely was this episode. Gene Marsh as the android.
That is
one of my favorites.
That is one of my favorites.
Heartbreaking.
A lot like a fembot, by the way, or the Westworld.
Or the fembots look like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great one. And this is one of my favorite. I think was Hocus Pocus and Frisbee episode with Slim Pickens.
Yes.
Andy Devine, who was like a habitual liar, and he actually did see a UFO land.
That's right.
And nobody believed him. These are the aliens, very cool aliens. I think William Tuttle may have been the makeup artist, but great.
That's
so
why
those are really, really cool.
And then also a different company.
There's more.
Put out some Logic Effect. Now, what's really awesome is this is actually just the package. This is, I think, a recreation of the original Battlestar Galactica lunchbox, but inside
a series of sex toys.
Yes, so you can use them for sex toys, but these are, I don't know if you can see with the glare, but this is Boxy, the Daggett,
look at that.
his pet Daggett, and the freaky dancing singing ladies from the pilot episode, right? With the two mouths. Woman with two mouths, pretty awesome.
But Daggett wasn't stand.
Like we want that,
He didn't
right?
originally stand though.
Guys, with me?
No, I think you can move it like a dog. You can pose it. But these are very Mego style, which again is great. Because there's something about the real cloth and like, they're very different from say like McFarlane figure. But I really they're very charming to me. All the Amigo style. So even though maybe not a lot of original Migos, there's still some companies kind of staying in the spirit of Mego toys, which is really cool. And
that seems to be like sort of a new wave now of all these. A lot of companies are doing these sort of Mego style characters.
Yeah.
And
it's great.
But what I love about the technology of toys now though is those are great and those are charming. But I also love these new things that are coming out where things are so articulated, like this Ghidorah, like what I got. But what I got is I got this King Kong figure.
Very nice.
And
also
this
from Monster
also from and the great thing about this, he's so articulate. I mean, he's got all these poses and a different head, and he comes with a little.
Open it up.
No, I'm gonna hold the box. But what was funny was what was funny is I see it and I go, oh, does it come with a little Fay Ray? And James pointed out, he goes, oh, Larry, it's a Naomi Watts. And I go, oh yeah,
That was my question. This is obviously the Peter Jackson.
Yeah, this is the Peter Jackson, and this is really cool. This is really great because it comes with a little Naomi Watts, and it's really great. But I'm hoping that they do come out with the classic Kong. That would be awesome.
What about Dino De Laurentiis Kong?
Yeah!
Oh, and it just
Actually,
that would be cool.
With less articulation.
You know what? Yes. Like I would like to see though. Actually, I would like to see a Dino De Laurentiis movie Kong based on the posters.
Yeah.
Because the poster Kong was awesome.
Yes. Now they did.
Not that Rick Baker's Kong in that movie was great, but the poster Kong was very different looking and very kind of iconic.
Bob Peak or somebody like that.
Yeah, but I love that design of the Kong on the posters.
Yeah.
Right.
Looked nothing like.
But they did come out with a little rubber. They came out with a little rubber King Kong in that pose.
Did it look like it though?
It did, Shawn. It did.
It
It's so
All right,
cool.
I believe you.
I've got one. I gotta show it to you. It's awesome.
Cool.
Now,
do you have it here?
What did you? I
And
don't.
the whole show is
What did
apart.
you get? What did you get?
As I said, I got the Ghidorah, and part of the fun is going to some of these vendors, especially there is one network of vendors that they always have half price graphic novels, and they have action figures. I'm sorry, Matt. Okay, what am I supposed to say? It's
Just
not
say graphic
novel.
novel.
Comic books!
Okay,
They're not graphic books, they're
comic books that are thicker and a little more expensive. But I won't say GN anymore.
Okay.
And they also have, sometimes you can find deals, and that's part of the fun of walking around the convention too. So I got this Quentin Tarantino from Planet Terror for
that's
$5.
There you go. You show that. That's.
And I got this.
That's Quentin.
How much Tarantino is worth?
It's almost like you don't care because it's $5.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, sure.
That's awesome.
This is
he has never looked better. Seriously. First of all, the ass is not nearly the proportion that it is in real life, and we would like to thank whoever sculpted him.
And a Reveltech Johnny Sacco, robot.
That is really nice.
Yeah, again, it's
Doesn't
all
stand
in
out.
He did.
Hold on, I forgot this. I got and I believe Shawn got this as
Yes.
well.
What's this?
This is from Doctor Who.
Here, hold it up.
This is from the
John
episode
Pertwee years. Right?
John Pertwee years. This is the episode. It's from the episode The Three Doctors, and this is a gel guard. And
it's really
and this
cool.
is and it's classic ridiculous monster.
This is
from
like
the show.
early 70s.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, a big eye and pulpy and like
Claws.
it's everything you want
In a monster.
Yeah, in a 70s monster. And then we got the Brigadier and Joe Grant, played by Katie Manning. And the one problem that I have with this series is that whenever they do women, they tend to look like how they look now.
Really?
Yeah, look at that. It's a
Oh,
little.
okay.
She's
Well,
kind of
well,
in her mid 40s there.
And she was really like
Yeah.
in her 20s. And
Yeah,
But
and
the Brigadier,
it's the
though, is
paint
great.
job.
Brigadier's great though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but isn't that kind of cool? How often do you get a figure of a woman in her mid 40s? I mean, it's kind of a novelty.
You know,
You know what?
got a
And
point.
I love cougars, so
There you go. See?
I like it when the
Wait.
peach is just about to turn.
are you
There
talking
you
about
go.
the TV show Cougars? How did
No,
that
no,
get into
just-
Comic-Con?
Just
now,
cougars,
conversation?
period. How can you not walk around Comic-Con and not recognize the power of the cougar?
No, and that's that is the great thing that Comic-Con is for everyone of all ages,
True.
young and old, and I love that.
Actually,
That's
one of the coolest cosplayers I saw. I didn't get a picture of it, but it was Silk Spectre, modern Silk Spectre
I
from
saw them!
Watchmen,
Yeah.
and the vintage Silk Spectre who was age appropriate. And I'm
Oh,
guessing
wow.
that was mother and daughter, and their costumes were great, and they looked terrific.
Nice.
That was nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, in addition to the costumes though, what was like the coolest thing, like the coolest toys that you saw that maybe you didn't get?
Well, you couldn't get because they're not out
Oh
yet.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I know. I think all of us.
Gargantuas.
Yeah, they're the War of the Gargantuas, which is classic
Iconic.
kaiju Toho monster movie.
Yeah.
Almost
Almost a cult classic of that genre.
right.
Yes.
Great, basically a big green evil giant, hairy giant, and his kind of good brown-haired brother
Yes.
fighting and destroying Tokyo.
Cain and Abel,
Sanda
basically.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Gaia.
But-
Great movie.
Yeah. And what's great about this movie too is it when you see it, it's different than your average Toho monster
Godzilla.
because those are full-on rubber monsters, where these are sort of prosthetic makeup characters.
Right.
So you see like a human character through that.
Yeah,
Much
very
like-
physical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved it. It's
and
like one of my favorites.
all-out
yeah.
brawl between two giant monsters.
Yeah.
But anyway, they as we probably all collect Godzilla toys, and they put out a lot of the classic kaiju characters, but they've never really put out accurate, detailed, really nice vinyl figures
Very
of the
little.
Gargantuas.
No,
they
not-
put
not-
out,
I mean,
they put out
those
garage
are hugely
kits,
popular.
garage kits.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Some of them more like deformed or like kind of more dollish looking, but
Yeah,
but
you
but
have those. Yeah.
one of the
And
vendors, I don't know what the vendor is.
Diamond Distributors was showcasing a whole kaiju
Yeah.
area, and it incled those as well as large vinyl figures of
Right.
Mechagodzilla, which is
Yeah.
beautiful.
But
And
again,
Beautiful.
not available yet.
No.
Although if
available.
I may plug, our mutual friend Taylor White, who has a wonderful store
Fantastic.
Oh,
called
God.
Creature
Creature
Features.
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 And
Creature Features.
yes,
Yes,
Creature Features,
hey.
yes.
There she's
Has
okay,
them.
yes.
Yeah.
But so we were in there one weekend, and he had this amazing diorama of the War of the Gargantuas, which actually had the logo on it and had the two Gargantuas fighting, and someone did trees and tanks attacking it. So then, the one thing that was missing was the mazer, this laser cannon that brings down the Gargantuas.
It's a classic
And
scene.
Classic
scene.
And-
Very
and-
violent.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
an amazing piece of like sort of sci-fi hardware.
Yeah. Gorgeous.
And I had a little miniature mazer that was not quite scale appropriate, and this is the way nerds work. And my good friend James goes, "Yeah, what you need is the Revoltech one." I'm like, "Yeah, but I had that, but I got rid of it." And so, what does he get me for my birthday?
Hey.
That
That's
mazer.
what he got. you.
Yeah. And now
It's a good
it's
friend.
it's
Man.
So
best.
so anyway, though, these figures now, these vinyl figures apparently are going to be coming out soon.
Yeah.
Although
Of
speaking of
the Gargantuas.
scale, the one thing I don't want to nitpick, but part of the reason that we were chomping at the bit about Gargantua was that during the 80s and 90s we all bought the Bandai
Yeah.
vinyl
Which were
kaiju
great.
figures.
Yeah.
but Gargantuan never came out.
Right.
Eventually, Titanosaurus came out. You know, all these other obscure.
Right. Yeah.
King Caesar.
Yeah, they put a lot of much more obscure than
Right.
Gargantuan,
Right.
which is surprising. Yeah.
They're the title characters of the movie.
Yeah.
Yes. My only problem with these is they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, and of course we're all going to buy them.
Yes.
But they're not that scale. They're much bigger.
No, they're much bigger. You're right.
Yeah, especially since in the movie the Gargantuans themselves
Are a little smaller,
are a smaller scale.
Which means they just have to put out all the other figures again in the same scale, and we'll buy them.
I would.
You know, now it kind of monster related too. Well, kind of. There was another item that I saw that I thought was really, really cool, and I was so disappointed. It was actually the Living Dead dolls. The Living Dead dolls, and what was so cool is they actually had a Janet Leigh and a Psycho. Those are cool, creepy dolls. I gotta get them. And they're black and white. And they go, are these? And they goes, oh no, here's a card. They're gonna again.
They'll be available when you don't want them anymore.
And
they have to stop that.
Now, basically, the floodgates have opened on licensing for the 1966 Batman TV series.
Oh my god!
And it seems like every manufacturer that could make a licensed Adam West and Burt Ward product has come out with one. They're not available yet, but at Comic-Con this year, we have seen ample evidence.
Tons of it.
It seems like every booth
I know that the one articulate figures, I guess, are going to be like about 6-inch figures, and they have like Batman, Robin, Riddler. They look awesome.
They're beautiful.
But those aren't available yet.
I wish they were, because I was looking forward to getting them.
Sideshow had their set with a big Batmobile. It was gorgeous. And the Batman and Robin were like 12 inches.
If you get a third mortgage on your house, then you can buy them.
I'm going to. Because I mean, the Batman, that classic Batman 60s show is one where like the stuff you can mine for characters, for figures. I mean, you can think of like
King Tut,
Egghead. I mean, like
but it gets me that it's taken them this long.
Yeah, really.
Well,
the show hasn't been on DVD yet.
Well, apparently there's a big legal problem with all that.
But it seems that that's about to be cleared up because one of the bags that registrants get when they register for Comic-Con is the 1966 Batman.
That is a show that would look fantastic on like DVD and Blu-ray.
Well, I think it's imminent because why else would that image be on a Comic-Con bag? I think that the DVD's about to come out.
Tease us.
I think maybe next year there's going to be a lot of those Batman DVDs out there.
Probably.
Maybe.
Well, all I know is that when we all come into Comic-Con, we get the free bag, like with the kind of Comic-Con tradition is you get these, bags.
Well, you pull it with your shuttle, you get out, you get
register,
and it's luck of the draw. You don't have any control.
Yeah, you don't have any control, and more often than not, I get it must be some sort of karmic thing, but I get the bag that is most opposite what I like in the universe.
Yeah.
And so
you got the Big Bang.
You got the Big Bang Theory.
Apparently,
we got the Godzilla one.
Yeah,
we're like, we was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
And now the bags have capes, which is kind of
little cape.
Apparently, God likes me a little bit more, but I didn't get Big Bang, which would have been like the universe shitting on my head. But I got the 300, which I hate as
No, look, the 300's cool. I don't know. I thought that was neat. Okay, that was kind of fun. Okay, and now they're coming out with this sequel.
Come on.
Okay, but I understand. He's not a big fan. Okay, all right. Did you trade it in? Could you trade it?
No, I couldn't trade. Nobody wants 300. Bunch of naked guys running around, and Frank Miller who hates the Persians. Fuck you and fuck your bag.
Oh, hey, come on.
No, this is what Monster Party is.
Right.
You're the nice drunk, I'm the angry drunk.
This is what it's all come down to. Okay,
wow.
so you saw. So what, Shawn? Did you see anything that was really?
I saw something I liked. I bought, which was they put out the creature from the Black Lagoon, the classic creature from Black Lagoon. In the film, in the story, they come across a fossil of like a hand that was in the rock, and that's like the evidence that there was a gill man, and at least to find the creature. And this company has put out like a life-size replica of it, like a cast in resin or whatever, and it's beautiful. It's great. And this was an example though where last year the company had it on display. I'm like,
Right.
oh my great, how much is that? We're gonna get no, it's not available yet. But
Well,
this time it actually was, and I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least there's a
Fantastic.
final
All right,
happy
so-
See,
ending.
that's so great. But along the same, I saw there's this great creature statue. No, this is really cool. This is a bank.
That's cool.
And this is really cool. But they also had it was designed or created by Stephen Wang, I guess the artist who did.
That's not a real name.
No, it is. But he did this beautiful creature statue, which is now it's totally painted and it's beautiful. It's ready to be sold, but it's a little.
You mean like
pricey.
life,
yeah.
kind of life
No,
size?
it's like
or
no, it's like
oh, okay.
this.
Oh, I didn't
really,
see that.
really cool.
I gotta
It's
look for
really
that.
amazing.
Quarter scale
Yeah.
or something.
It's awesome.
Who bought was this yours?
I did, yes.
The Jack Kirby.
You know, look,
It's great.
It's
Look,
Superman.
again,
It's like
Come on.
it's Superman, like, but sort of like in
He's
his
angry.
50s.
Yeah.
No, he's angry.
He's pissed.
Yeah,
He's-
this is the get off my lawn, kids. Superman.
no, sometimes you just look for bargains, you find something. Again, it's
Right.
impulse shopping.
It's
you know,
interesting. Was it like a loose?
But I
figure?
like it.
no, it's
Oh.
in package, but it was $10.
That's interesting.
You know.
Is that based on one of the particular
Yes,
comic lines?
it's
Or
from
wow,
a comic
that's
line, but I'm
interesting.
not even familiar.
Yeah,
with
this
it.
is NRA Superman
Yeah.
right here. Yeah, this is very
Did
much-
you guys see, by the way, Star Trek is still alive and well at Comic Con.
much.
Did you guys see there are these
Marine
really cool
Surface is
figures?
still alive.
There's
Amazingly.
these really cool figures. They have classic Star Trek, and it actually has there's a Spock figure with the Horta.
Yes, I saw
And
that.
I'm like,
I
oh
kinda
my
just wanted the Horta.
Yeah,
figure.
Where was that?
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
see that.
Diamond
Yeah.
Select.
I also, why isn't there like a little Nomad figure? You know, Nomad.
Maybe they'll come out with
Yeah.
that.
Where's that?
They also had one with Captain Kirk and Khan, and it was
Yeah,
it
that
was
wasn't
neat.
bad.
But
Wasn't
the
bad.
Horta,
Yeah.
they
Horta.
made a Horta.
I want a life-size
it's-
Horta as a rug.
You could probably make one.
Yeah.
and put it
You know what
in.
I want? I want a Roomba.
Roomba?
Like one of those
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that sort of it's a vacuum cleaner
Yeah,
that is
but
a
like
robot
Horta,
that
but it looks like a
cleans
Horta.
or- Roomba, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that
But like,
what it's
it-
called?
Do they have those at Comic Con?
No,
when
but
it-
someone should make one.
But
Yeah.
when it goes over your hardwood floor, it would leave no kill eye into the wood.
All right, so
Which is it? I won't kill, or you don't kill me.
all right.
That's the question.
So
All right,
two
good
things.
God.
So two things we need to work on right now as money making projects. One is the Horta Roomba,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then the sci-fi brothel in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
'Cause-
that's great.
Because like what I see is that imagine a room in this brothel where it's like the gray alien abduction room, and so you're brought in and you go to sleep on a little bed, and all of a sudden the lights go out, and then all of a sudden the
Anal
lights
probe.
go up, and here are the aliens,
Okay.
you know, with big breasts and everything, and they come in and they abduct you, and then the lights go out again, and the next thing you know, you're on a table.
See, this sounds like a different show though. It sounds like.
I think it's absolutely the show. Yeah, I don't think you're embracing our show enough. That's
No,
the
I'm
problem.
embracing it.
All right.
I'm embracing it.
And all we need is just a little bit of venture capital, and we
Do
could
this.
make this dream a reality.
Right.
Wow.
Well,
Kickstarter.
Maybe
anyone?
that'll be in our future. Maybe that's going to be in the future. So who knows?
So we have one more day left of Comic Con, so
Mhm.
we're
Right,
going
the
to get the
final
most
day.
out of this.
Mhm.
Bargains.
Yeah, I
Last
mean, this is
minute.
Bargains.
day 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Day 4.
Whatever celebrities are upstairs autographing,
Yes.
like
Right.
desperate because it's the last day.
Right.
So
They might pay you to
Yeah.
get an autograph.
Did you see many celebrities at this?
Wally Wingard.
You saw
Wally
Wally
Wingard?
Wingard,
Wally
the voice of the
Wingard.
Tonight Show.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
He was there?
He's
I didn't see him.
amazing.
Raiders
A
in?
voiceover guy. Yeah.
John Schnepp, who is this amazing writer, artist, Metalopolis.
Did you talk to any of these guys?
Absolutely, yes.
Cool.
And Derek Robertson, who is a
Oh.
comic book artist extraordinaire.
You know, that is the cool thing about Comic Con. That they have a lot of these comic book artists just sitting in
will
the
draw,
comic book alley,
yeah,
and they will draw on your portfolio, for
Oh,
a few
yeah.
bucks or whatever. But also they can just sign stuff for you, and that is so cool.
Well, these guys are like mythic. They're like
Mhm.
legends. You know, you open up comics, you see their names, and it's some of them have been in business for like 40 years,
Yeah.
and they're legends.
I'm always I know that Neil Adams was there,
Yeah.
and I'm always amazed when there's
Yeah,
not
it's
a
like-
giant line.
I know.
leading
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Neil
I know.
Adams.
He's just sitting there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
this is Neil Adams.
Yeah.
If there weren't a Neil Adams, there wouldn't be that thing you like or
Yeah,
you think
right,
that's
right.
good now.
Yeah.
Did you guys go to any of the panels this year?
You know, it's like the
Oh,
panels.
boy.
The panels are so. I
Big
can't
Bang
stand in
Theory.
line. I
Big
can't
Bang
stand in line for 5-6 hours for a panel.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
it
like,
used to be like that.
It didn't used to be like that, but like my wife will try a lot of times to go to some of these panels, but like I don't have the patience and like
No, I
I come to Comic Con.
Yeah.
There's so much to look at and see
Yeah.
and buy at Comic Con that like I want to spend half a day in line for something. I mean, it is amazing. Some of these like we'll be in our hotel and we'll look out the window and we'll see this line going literally all the way around the convention center, and that's a line for like the Firefly panel the next day.
Well,
Right.
I mean, it's like
it's like
I mean,
getting
people
the
will do that. It's
exclusives.
like
It's like the same as getting the exclusives. You need like a master's degree in figuring out, okay, when do I get up? When do I go on the line? When do I get ticket?
it really is.
When do I go to this other place?
difficult.
It's like, it's too complicated. It's like simplifying.
Well, it is also, isn't it like, have you ever been, because we all live in LA, and in LA, there's this thing where, like, you go on the weekends and you drive by some club, and there is a line outside the club, and I can't fathom the idea of, like, that you're going to wait in line to go into a club that to have a drink, and once you get in there, it's packed with people, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
And that's what I think those panels are like. Is like as long as you wait, once you get in there, no matter what happens, unless they cure your cancer or you know what I mean, like do something magical, there's no way that it's ever gonna fulfill. Like, why not wait a day and then just watch it on YouTube?
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Well,
I will say the one cool thing is that they have so many different panels about so many different things. I mean, I'm not necessarily into Mythbusters, but I know that there's a ton of people who are into that. I know. What does Mythbusters have to do with comics? But it's it's nice that they have Mythbusters there.
Let's do some backstory. We were exhausted yesterday. We needed a place to sit.
I love backstory.
They kicked us out of the free area because they had to roll up the tables because it was 7 o'clock. We were desperate for a place to sit in air conditioning. We found a panel that was not overflowing with people. We went in the back row. We sat down. It happened to be Mythbusters. We never watched Mythbusters. I'm sure it's a wonderful show.
I've watched it a couple times.
Okay. But mainly we were just like, look, we're not really here for the panel. We just need to sit down and get our bearings for a few minutes. And that's also, I think, part of what you can enjoy about Comic-Con is that the little, sometimes pleasures about, like, okay, you might end up somewhere unexpected, but it's all sort of, functioning for what your ultimate agenda is.
But the neat thing about that, though, is we actually learned something about Mythbusters, and we were in the back and stuff.
I learned more than I ever wanted to know about.
No, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was actually kind of cool, so I actually enjoyed it. I went in and I didn't expect.
No, it's a wonderful Emmy-nominated show.
Was it a good panel?
It's nominated. Yeah, they had the two. They had the two guys up there.
Will Wheaton was
and Will Wheaton was the moderator.
Why was Will Wheaton?
Because he's a huge fan of science and he's a huge fan of Mythbusters.
But see, now
and the Big Bang Theory.
He is on that show.
He is on that
show. He is on that show.
Oh, really? Oh, wow, okay.
Oh my God, we could go on.
But yeah, I think, like I said, panels. I think it's been a long time since I've really been to a panel because I just don't have the time. There are things to buy.
It's a big investment. It's a major investment.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if that's your thing, granted that we're also going to see like the entire cast of a certain show. If that's your thing,
if that's your thing.
I mean,
you want to wait.
Because remember,
in line.
Comic-Con it's Comic-Con International. There are people who fly out from all over the world, to come here. And if their thing is to see, they're not never be another time where they're going to see the cast of a certain show or movie.
Listen. For those thousands of people that are sitting up there in the panels, the dealer's room is that much emptier.
Yeah,
Thank God.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And if they want to wait the time, that's fine. I mean, that's it. If that's your thing and that's the thing that you're passionate about, go for it. But I just can't do it. Like even the things that I really love, I just can't. It's like time I'm never getting back. I can't wait for.
It's the waiting.
2 days, in the line for
Yeah.
anything that I like. Like I'd rather go to YouTube and do it that way, but
it's just logical.
But Mythbusters.
No, but
I got here on Tuesday for that panel. And realized that I didn't need to.
Well, guys,
guys.
Is that-
you
is
know,
that it?
I think
Was that the puffs?
You know what? The truth of the matter is,
That was-
we could actually
that
go
was
on
it?
and on, but we
We
keep
should.
drinking.
Go on.
Let's
We
go.
But
have
you know,
gone on.
if you have never checked out Comic-Con, perhaps you should. You know, and yeah, it's challenging. You know, there's
There are crowds.
there's
It's
difficulties,
different
but you know
crowds,
what?
It's huge.
The
It's,
one thing I love about Comic-Con, it's not so much the floor or the panels. It's the one time a year where you get together with your closest friends and you all kind of hang out afterwards and you talk about the great purchases and the great victories and the defeats, like
And the
Webarella
bitching
and the
pros
bitching
cons.
and that's what I love the most is getting together with friends. So
it's awesome.
Comic-Con.
That
This
is
is
what it's
this,
about.
Yeah.
and this really was sort of the genesis of Monster Party, which
True.
is
Yeah.
True.
we
Yeah,
would do
that's
this
true.
after every Comic-Con.
That's true.
After
we come back
loads of
here,
drinking,
drink
and-
We
ourselves
decided
silly,
to put it on
and-
film
Yes.
for your enjoyment.
Argue about
But you know, a lot of other Comic-Con attendees are doing the exact same thing in
Exactly
hotel
right.
rooms
That's
all
right.
over the
But
city.
not as well as us.
True.
No.
No, of course
No.
not.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Sean, absolutely.
All right.
Here's to
Comic-Con.
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 All right, Monster Party Comic-Con.
Monster Party Comic-Con
See you next year.
2013.
Yes, yes.
We will see you very soon.
Woo!
We love you.
Comic-Con.
Keep
Excelsior.
those origin letters coming.
Love you.
Avengers Assemble.
All right. Nerds assemble.
I need a drink.